Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled 20 Ways Single Women Accidentally Sabotage Their Love Lives, assuming they'd like to get married someday. And guys, this whole article, which obviously is written by a woman, she goes into this whole thing about how your average gal completely ruins their relationships, their love lives, whatever you want to call it. Now in reality, she lists 20 reasons here. It could be 200 reasons, but obviously there's not enough time to write down 200 reasons, and I certainly wouldn't do a video for 200 things I had to read. So there's going to be 20, and they're pretty dead on, okay? Now here's the interesting thing. These things, these articles I go over a lot of times, like this one here, you can tell right away, at least I can, this isn't written for the average guy. This isn't written about the average guy, the average nice guy. These are all written about, obviously, guys that were bad boys, because women always love to chase after the bad boys, the guys that are challenged and all that. And the thing is that your typical nice guy is not going to do a lot of the things in here which he talks about. Okay, nice guys are always the type of guys that always put the woman's interests first. He puts her on a pedestal. He kisses her butt, treats her like the queen. He lets her change him, things like that. And when was the last time you see women chasing after nice guys? The bad boy does the opposite. The bad boy does what he wants, when he wants, whenever he wants. He doesn't put her on the pedestal. He's on the pedestal. He doesn't treat her like the queen because he's the king. He doesn't put her needs first. He put her needs dead last. And interestingly, the women chased after these guys. Okay? And you all know this. And as a former nice guy, believe me, I know this, okay? I've told you before, guys, and when I was younger, I made all the mistakes I tell you guys not to do. So that's why by making these mistakes and learning the hard way and changing, then I can help you guys not make the same mistakes. For those of you that do, obviously, dating and relationships and all that. But it's always funny how a lot of times women write articles or there's songs in the radio. You've heard all the songs, or women are complaining about the guy did this and the guy did that. That's not your typical nice guy in those songs. It's the bad boy. But most guys aren't like that at all. Most guys are your typical, either your total vanilla nice guys or somewhere right in the middle. But anyhow, I'm going to go through this here, guys, and pick it apart. It's pretty funny and dead on, I might add. So it starts off, let's get one thing out of the way. If you're single and not interested in a long-term partnership or marriage or in having kids in that context, this isn't for you. Although some of it applies to casual, short-term relationships just as well. That said, here are 20 ways single women accidentally sabotage their love lives. Accidentally. Number 1, they date men who are clearly not commitment-oriented and then blame themselves once they can't make him commit. Well, who's she talking about right there? Can't make him commit? The bad boy. Always. Because the bad boy is the challenge, guys. I know a lot of you guys get fed up with that. You can't understand it. And when I say bad boy, I don't always mean criminal. Some are. Just simply a guy that isn't so easy. Dead on. But right here, it's the bad boy. Number 2, they don't apply basic economic concepts to relationships, such as sunk cost and opportunity cost, because let's face it, that doesn't sound sexy. What she means by that is they waste time with some dude that's never going to go anywhere in hopes that it will, and that time they waste with that dude, it could have been with some other guy that actually could have worked out. That's what she's talking about there. Number 3, they overanalyze everything and find a way to make it their fault. Well, all women overanalyze everything, okay? That's why, it sounds crazy, but this is why I tell you guys that, it's best that you're so busy. You're such a high-value guy that if you're dating and doing all that with multiple women, that's why you take your time to return their text, because you're busy. And they're going to wonder, why aren't you returning their text right away? Because, they're so hot and beautiful that most guys return their text immediately. You're different. Well, you know what? You're busy. You got a life. You're on your job. You're on your purpose, okay? And it makes her wonder, what's he doing? Who's he with? Who's he talking to? Does he not like me? They overanalyze everything. And that's just one example with texting. It could be a whole other things. And she says it finds a way to make it their fault. By the way, when it comes to these type of things, when it comes to bad boys, in the beginning, it's not his fault. It's her fault. She messed things up. When it's nice guys, it's always the nice guy's fault where things go wrong in relationships or whatever. She says if a relationship didn't work out, it was because they, as in the girl, texted too much or slept with him too soon. It was because it was never a healthy breakup of two people who wanted different things. It was the woman who somehow messed things up. Like I said, With bad boys, it's their fault because usually the bad boy breaks up with them and she wonders, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? When it's the nice guy, they usually are the ones breaking up with the nice guy, and they're not wondering, what did I do? It's all him. Number 4. Oh, we got sirens and we got mowers out here. I'm doing this early today, guys, because we're having a heat wave here up in Massachusetts. For my fellow New Englanders, hang in there. This bullshit will be over hopefully in a couple days. Anyhow, number 4. They meet men who say, I think marriage as an institution is outdated. They convince themselves he's only saying it because he's 28 years old and not ready, and go on a date for 3 years, and go on and date him for 3 years, wondering all the while where the hell is the ring? Well, this happens all the time. You know, a lot of guys simply aren't interested in marriage or having kids, but these women get these guys hoping they can change their mind. Trust me, at that point, at that age, 28 years old, believe me, he knows. He knows he doesn't want to get married. He knows he doesn't want to have kids. So don't try to change his mind. Don't try to spend all this time with a dude thinking that, you know, you'll change his mind. But we all know there's a term called baby trapped. You all know what that is, so be careful, guys. I've got to warn you. And there's a lot of women I've known from an early age. They didn't want to ever get married or have kids. Some wanted to get married, but they didn't want to have kids. And guess what? They meant what they said. But a lot of women think they can change the guy. Number 5, they date men who clearly state they don't want to have kids ever. And she says, but he's only 28. How can he be so sure? Trust me, we know. The guys know. They don't want kids. They don't want to deal with that bullshit, you know? Some guys could be cool getting married with the right one, but they don't want to have kids. Or some guys want to have kids because they want an heir, but they don't want to get married. But believe me, they know. Number 6, they storm out of a fight hoping he'll chase them down, begging for his forgiveness. Showing that how many times have you seen situations like this, or been in a situation where the girl just storms away instead of actually talking it out and communicating, hoping the guy will chase after her? Well, guess what? Bad boys don't chase after women in situations like bad boys are like, you can go. See ya. I'll replace you tomorrow. I'll replace you tonight. Nice guys go chasing after them, begging for forgiveness. Okay? So again, she's writing this about, obviously, not nice guys. Quick tip. You get in an argument with your girl somewhere, and she starts making a big scene, you walk away. Don't ever fight with women. You're not gonna win. You walk away, okay? And let them come chasing after you. And if they don't, who cares? You're high value. You can replace them. Don't ever go chasing after a girl after a fight and go begging their forgiveness. They will lose all respect for you. Trust me. Number 7, they don't tell him what's wrong. He should know. How many times have been in a situation like that? Instead of communicating what's on her mind, why she's upset, she doesn't say shit. And she is mad because you haven't figured it out. Guess what? We're not mind readers. And this one could be applied to all guys, not just bad boys, okay? So I said a few things here can go both ways for nice guys and bad boys. Men are not mind readers, okay? We're not in touch with our emotions that way. We're not as observant around there. And a lot of us, the bad boys, don't care anyway. So if there's an issue, women need to communicate in a healthy, step-by-step, direct manner so guys can understand, okay? Not mind readers. And don't blame us. Don't get mad at us because we can't read your mind, okay? We're not psychics. We're not Professor Xavier from X-Men. Number 8. If only they point out enough cute babies to him in the park, he'll change his mind about having kids. They can feel it. Again, no. If we say we don't want kids, we don't want kids. And we certainly don't want babies, okay? Guys that want kids one day, they're looking past generally the whole baby stage to actually little dudes they can throw the baseball with and teach guys stuff, not babies. It's not going to work. Number 9. They meet men who say, I think marriage as an institution is outdated, convincing that he's only said because he's 35 and not ready, and go on a date for 3 years wondering all the while where the hell is the ring. Like I said, first she said it when he was 28, that didn't work, now he's 35, and she's thinking now he'll change his mind. He doesn't mean it. Now he's older. Guess what? He still means it. He meant it when he was 28, and he means it at 35. He doesn't want to get married one day. End of story. But yeah, how many women have you known? Because I've known plenty that stay with a guy forever, and they expect him to change his mind, okay? And they get mad at him, and there's all this drama because guess what? He doesn't propose. He doesn't want to get married. End of story. We mean what we say. Number 10, they date men who clearly state they don't want to have kids ever, but he's only 35. How can you be so sure? Again, we know. We knew at 28. We knew at 21. We probably knew at 15. Don't have kids. Stop trying to change our minds. Stop trying to think that you can get us to see that way or have all this hope. Go find it. If you really want to get married, you really want to have kids, go find a guy that's marriage material. And by the way, this is why so many women settle. Number 11. They seek validation in the men they date. Can't seem to find it elsewhere, much less in themselves. All women seek validation. All women love validation. I've told you this 100,000 times in this channel, okay? And some take it to a whole new level. And yeah, they're not going to get it themselves. They're always going to want it. And that's one thing I tell you guys, you can be careful. Especially you guys that get together with a woman that if you're smart enough to realize she settled for you, she's going to want that validation even though she married you. Be careful. Number 12. They pick men they can treat as a project, clean his apartment, teach him how to organize his kitchen, cabinets, do his laundry the proper way, then get fed up when he treats him like his mommy. In other words, they go for the fixer-upper guy, the guy that they can change, the guy that has, issues and is damaged in one way or another, and they can fix them because then they can feel like they changed them. And then they get mad because that guy he treats her like his mom, or pretty much he doesn't meet her other expectations, okay? Don't waste your time with the fixer-upper guy. I was a couple weeks ago. I was working out with a few clients. I work with a husband, a wife, and her sister, and they're a lot of fun. And the one woman, she's 38 years old, really cool. And somehow this conversation came up about this guy she had this big crush on in high school. And she mentioned flat out that he liked to smoke what and all that, but he obviously had so much potential, blah, blah, blah. And I jokingly said, yeah, and you thought you could fix him. And she said, yep, right there. He had so much potential. That was the attraction, that she could fix him. Women love guys they can fix. Don't waste your time, ladies. Number 13. They try to change the men they date from the way he dresses to how often he calls his mother. Women don't try to mostly change nice guys. They may try to do little things for the nice guys that have potential, but generally speaking, the guys they try to change are the bad boys. They try to change the bad boys into nice guys. And when some of those guys actually do change and start being more like a nice guy, what happens? She gets bored. There's no more challenge. So don't ever change who you are for anybody, especially a woman, because if you change, what do you think attracted her in the first place? You as you were. But if all of a sudden you change and become a different person, a lot of times they end up getting bored and break up with you, saying you changed. And the guy's thinking, well, that's what you said you wanted. Don't ever change. You see how they screw these things up? Number 14. They meet men who say, I think marriage as an institution is outdated, and convince themselves that although he's 40, he's only saying it because he's never met the one. Again, he meant it at 28, he meant it at 35, and now he's 40, and he still means it. Stop trying to think you can change him, or or he doesn't know what he wants. Number 15, they date men who clearly state they don't want to have kids ever, but he's 40, and they just know he'd be a great dad. Like I said, at 28 he didn't mean it. At 35 he didn't mean it. At 28 he meant it. At 35 he meant it. And at 40 he meant it. He doesn't want to have kids. Stop wasting your time. Stop wasting his time. Number 16. They forget that love requires action more than feelings or words. Actions are everything. But how many women hold on to the hope that this guy will change, hold on to the hope, that he's saying this, but his actions are saying something else. Okay, I always tell you guys, pay attention to people's actions, and it can go for my female followers as well. Pay attention to what he does, not what he says. That's a lesson for everybody in life, guys. So many women stay with guys. They think they can change. They think that he says, well, maybe this, maybe that, and they hold on to that because he's the great challenge. Meanwhile, there's an endless supply of guys out there that they could have that would marry them, would have kids, would treat them well and all that. They don't want them. Number 17, they can't recognize a good enough relationship, so they keep chasing an ideal, perfect relationship that doesn't exist. Well, that's most modern women today. Again, I want a guy that's 6 feet tall, 6-figure income, 6-pack, 6 inches plus down south, speaks multiple languages, has advanced degrees, travels the world. You get the point there. That's your modern woman. and complain and wonder why they can't find that guy, and complain and whine that they're alone, and then at the last thing, insult guys, saying there's no good men out there. Where are all the good men? Okay? You're not going to get perfection. I hate to break it to you. You might get one of those 6s, maybe 2. Maybe. Good, but all of them, good luck, amongst all those other things. 18. They constantly rule out good men in favor of a dream guy who isn't real precisely because they dreamed him up. Again, pretty much going along what I just said. Number 19. They stay in a bad relationship for far too long because they're afraid they're running out of time or don't believe they deserve better. Well, there could be daddy issues there, or they've invested so much time into a guy that they don't want to, they don't want to throw away that investment, even though it's not going anywhere. I've known some women that have stayed with guys for years, hoping that he would change his mind about marriage and kids and all that. And people were telling them left and right, hey, he's a cool guy, but he's not marriage material. You're wasting your time. And I know. And the girl would stay with him anyway. And then finally, after a number of years, break up with the guy and, get this, go on to another guy who was just like him and got the same results, right? Because they were the bad boy or the challenging guy and all that. And will whine and cry and complain because they are nowhere close to the altar than they were 5 years earlier. Well, it was on them. Number 20. They place too much stock in how much they love him and forget to notice whether or not he truly loves them back. With actions more than with words. Again, the bad boy type. It sounds exactly like that, They focus on how much they're so in love with him that I can change him, I can make him want to do this, I can make him want to get married, I can make him want to be a better person, make him want to have kids, all these things, completely wasting their time. And she is way more into him than he's into her. But the reality is, it's always a better situation, guys, that she is more into you than you're into her. Because when it's the opposite, when a guy's more into a woman and she's into him, number one, she's in the position of power. The old saying, the power in the relationship lies with the one who cares less. So you don't want to be in that situation, guys. And also that, in that situation, she's not going to treat the guy the same as the guy that she is chasing after. You always want it to be that she is more into you than you into her, and she's going to treat you better. She's going to chase after you. But it's just a little tip there. But anyhow, guys, quick video, but that is 20 dead-on reasons why so many women sabotage and screw up their relationships, can't get what they want, and all that. And, of course, interestingly, will blame guys and make us out to be the bad guys because they can't get what they want. Like I said, how many times have you heard songs on the radio about how he cheated, how he did this, how he did that? That's not your typical guy. That's not your typical nice guy, because most guys out there are nice guys. They're your vanilla nice guy types that we all know about, make fun of, or just guys that are sort of in the middle. They have their bad boy moments, but they're really not bad boys, but they're also nice guys. That's most guys. They're not the type of guys that you hear about in the songs, because those are classic bad boys. But again, these songs are all about, it's almost made out to be that all guys are like that. It's not true at all. Or how, like these articles I go over a lot of times, it's definitely written with the bad boy in mind, but it makes it appear that's most guys. Not true at all. But anyway, guys, I thought you'd find that interesting. That was a good one I saw this morning. So anyway, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me think of some other things you can add to the list. I'm sure many of you are laughing. You can probably add dozens to this list, but go right ahead. It's always entertaining. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.